Is Novo Nordisk a good stock for the long term? Let's analyze it together. Do the disclaimer right here in the video description below, and also join us, the NST, the most popular stocks of the US market and the European market as well. I decided, to analyze the stock in euros because there is more liquidity. We go to the one in dollars, there's like a huge gaps, it's kind of weird. I prefer to analyze the main one, even though this is from a German exchange. Obviously, this is a company based in Denmark originally, but this one it works for the analysis. And the thing here is like there is a dramatic downtrend that we experience over time. It was established back in June 2024, the last highs, and right now it's minus 70%, which is insane. In just 1 year, the price decreased more than 70% for a company that had a market cap. It was huge. Right now it's 185 billion, which is still huge, but not as before. It's just half, more than half of a market cap decrease. So the key question here is like, is it a good moment to buy the stock at this point? In theory, it is, because obviously you see a minus 70% and then it recovers. It's a good one, especially if we're talking about US stocks that are focused in AI at this point. But in this case, it's a little bit different. So we had to analyze the fundamentals if there is a good opportunity right now, or maybe we had to wait a little bit longer because the fundamentals are going down. It's as simple as that, because price tends to follow, the fundamentals. So if we go to the net income, we're going to see that they already anticipated this because they were making new highs right here in terms of the net income, but the price was already decreasing. Probably because they were anticipating this huge drop that we were watching right here, this 2.667 million, which is a minus 24% decrease in terms of net income. Is important, is relevant, So as I mentioned before, net income affects the price action. If we see a dramatic decrease in the net income, the price is going to follow. Sometimes the price tends to do it first, actually, before the earnings, because there are people that already know the information, is the truth. Apart from that, guys, we're going to see the forecast, because obviously this is the current situation, which is not good. The latest earnings, we're talking about an estimate of 0.65. The reporting was even worse, minus 8% of surprise factor, which is kind of bad. When that happens, it's not very positive, but still, we are in this support level. It's important we analyze the technical analysis also, because here you can clearly see during these downtrends, we're talking about very dramatic downtrends, there were some resistance and support levels. So the main resistance level is this one, is kind of huge. And the main support levels that we have are shorter, obviously, so in time frame. But there was a breakout every time. And so every time it hits, look at the retest, and then it goes down again. So here it happens again, and it goes down again and make new lows. In this case, we are in the very same situation. We're talking about this is the support level. And if we see a breakout below this area, we could see like a dramatic downtrend with a retest, So if it happens, you gotta be very careful. That's why I prefer normally to wait for a breakout, because normally if there is a breakout right here, the retest can happen the same, but at least there is an opportunity to go up. But if there is a breakout below the support level, it could be a very dangerous situation. You want to avoid that, because the last time it happened, we were talking about a minus 35%. So in just a short period of time, in just 1 week. So you gotta be careful with that. So this is the current situation. We are in this middle of this triangle right here. The very support level, the very resistance level is very relevant. We're talking about 1 year resistance level. So it's kind of stronger than this one, definitely. And we had to to watch closely the price action, because right now we are at the end of this triangle and something is going to happen. If we see a breakout right here, it could be the start of an uptrend. In order to see that, we had to go to the forecast by Wall Street analysts. What analysts said, we're talking about a more than 28%. They're expecting the price action to increase. And then the most optimistic one, more than 68%. And the most pessimistic one, minus 12% only, which is interesting, So probably they are finding the bottom at this point, and it could be. And it could be because of the EPS forecast that we have right here. We're talking about that the next earnings are going to be better, definitely, than the last one. So probably the worst has already happened. But what I don't like probably is the third quarter 2026 still. It's gonna be better than the current one. You know, we're talking about a 0.72 of EPS in comparison to 0.60, the current one that has been reported. So we could find a good opportunity at this point in terms of fundamentals, because the worst has already passed, and we're gonna see better earnings at this point that are gonna actually be, they're gonna be very similar to the previous one. So this is very positive, you know. Also, in terms of the annual EPS forecast, is going to be also good. We're talking about by the end of 2025, an EPS of 3, which is similar to the current one, a little bit better. And by the end of 2026, a little bit better than the one in 2025, and again and again and again. So it's not a super growth environment, but it's better than before. And it's important because in the revenue is happening the same. I think this is a very good opportunity in terms of fundamentals, because as long as it grows, and the price has decreased a lot. We're talking about like a minus, as I remember, you know, minus 70% is a huge decrease. Obviously, we were talking about that a lot of hype at that point, but a minus 70% is offering you a very good opportunity. Also, if we go to the RSI and MACD indicators for the long term, not that long term, maybe this one, and you activate here the logarithmic scale, look at the opportunity that you have at this point, you know, after this huge bottom, you know, also in the RSI, but probably the daily time frame is even better, you know. It's signaling a bullish divergence, which is very important. Look at this bullish divergence in the RSI. Maybe it's not a super bullish, maybe yeah, slightly bullish divergence. It's just not by much. And then right here in the MACD as well, you can clearly see that bullish divergence that is gonna activate right now. So these are very interesting signals, you know, because these bullish divergences in both MACD and RSI in a daily time frame, they are very relevant, you know, especially after a minus 50%. Because this is when actually, if we activate the logarithmic scale, the volume profile around this area, we're gonna see exactly the point of control, which is above the current level. So at least we could see the 46 euro area right here. What I mean by that is, like, we could see the breakout at this point, because there is a lot of trading volume around this area above the breakout. Also, we have the fundamentals, because you can see the technical analysis that it could be a signal of a bullish trend in the future. But we need the fundamentals. If we have very good fundamentals, we have more probabilities they could happen. So in this case, we're talking about a net income that is that right now is at its worst case, but it's going to improve in the next ones. That's good. We have the forecast, also good. And we have the revenue, also good, in the present and in the future. So the worst, in theory, has passed. We also have to update this information because, as I mentioned, there are other risks that I showed you before. So we're talking about that competitive pressure and product life cycle risks. So the problem that they have right now, probably this is the reason why the price is making new lows in the last 2 years, is because of this obesity space is getting more crowded, and Eli Lilly and company in particular, which is increasing the pricing and making it a little bit, you know, more competition in essence. So it could be a difficult situation for the company because it's one of the main products, and also on some other products, patents face expiry risks or generic competition in certain markets. As I mentioned, they have a lot of competition at this point. But in my opinion, this shouldn't be a huge problem at this point. We have to see exactly what's going to happen next. First, we need to see the price action in terms of technical analysis, and we need to see the next earnings. But the estimate is really good in comparison to the last one. So let me know what you think about this stock. Do you think it's a good one for the long term? Do you think it's better to wait a little bit longer to see a breakout in this triangle? What do you think? Leave your comments below and see you in the next video.